Hi, this is Bryce Knorr from Farm Futures. Today I'd like to share some of the presentations I gave farmers at this year's Farm Progress Show and Husker Harvest Days. First, of course, the question that everybody's talking about is how big are the 2016 corn and soybean crops? USDA on September 12th said they were very big, putting the corn crop at 15.1 billion bushels with soybeans at 4.2 billion bushels, both records. The corn yield was down slightly, less than a bushel per acre, but the government raised its forecast of soybean yields more than a bushel and a half to a record 50.6 bushels per acre. Now, there was one bullish number out of this report, and that was the beginning stocks or ending stocks for the 2015 crop marketing year, which USDA slashed to just 195 million bushels, down 60 million and even less than my forecast. That could keep the 2016 crop carry-out from becoming too burdensome, particularly if the crop maybe is a little smaller and demand is better than expected. For corn, however, it's tough to come up with any type of bullish carry-out estimate. USDA put ending stocks at almost 2.4 billion bushels, and it's tough to get them much below 2.2 billion unless yields are really much lower than expected or demand improves considerably. Now, we just don't take USDA's monthly crop reports for gospel. We also have a variety of other ways of trying to figure out the size of the crops. We asked growers this year with our new feedback from the field feature what was happening. They let us know right away about the green snap event in the first week of July out in Nebraska, tip back problems due to the excessive heat and warm summer nights. Also, the conditions growers in the eastern Midwest faced. In Ohio, they planted late and then conditions turned very dry. Now, there were a lot of areas that have very good crops. Wisconsin has record ratings. But some heavy rains are starting to raise concerns about damage and disease in the upper Midwest as the growing season comes to an end. USDA lowered its forecast of corn yields in the September report compared to August, but only fractionally. A lot of states went down, but not enough to really make much of a difference. Weekly crop ratings also point to good yields. They moved up to 174.1 bushels per acre on my nationwide model. Though the I-70 corridor slipped, the upper Midwest showed gains. Those crop ratings have remained fairly strong. They range, depending on the model, between 172 and 174 bushels per acre, but they haven't varied much over the growing season. Another way we look at yields is by using satellite vegetation maps. These show better than average conditions over most of the growing region, supporting the idea that the crop is a big one. Now, the other way we look at yields is by a weather model that takes into account stress on the crop during June as well as July temperatures and precipitation, as well as the survey we make of growers. Both of those are coming in around 168 bushels per acre, so they're about 6 bushels per acre in play compared to the top end of the forecast. Now, interestingly enough, that weather model is the most accurate, and more accurate than even USDA's September estimate, in predicting what the final yield that USDA comes out with in January. There's a lot of room for changes down the road. All of these models, none of them has a perfect track record. USDA's own estimates in September have been as much as 10 bushels per acre too high. That was back in 2010, the year when we had those warm summer evenings. For soybeans, USDA showed most states improving in its September report. Again, that's why we had the big increase in nationwide yields. The crop ratings on a nationwide basis also improved. They're up to 50.3 bushels per acre, supporting USDA's forecast. Those ratings have shown steady improvement since July. and varying right now between 48.3, that's the state-by-state model, and that 50.3 on the nationwide model. So there are still a wide range of estimates. The weather model for soybeans takes into account July temperatures and precipitation. That's down all the way at 46 bushels per acre, closer to the results from our survey. The Vegetation Health Index also below USDA's estimate, that's at 49 bushels per acre. And that vegetation index is actually a better indicator of final yields in September's USDA report. The weather model is also pretty accurate too. As with corn, potential for big changes down the road, as much as 3 bushels per acre from USDA. That's how much they've overestimated production in September compared to the final estimate in January. Next, I'll talk about what in the world is happening to our markets.